Hi guys, I'm back. Today I'm going to read Jeremiah 46 to 50, Proverbs 14, and Psalm 139. Let's get started. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the nations, about Egypt, concerning the army of Pharaoh Necho, king of Egypt, which was by the river Euphrates at Carchemish, and which Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, defeated in the 4th year of Jehoiakim, the son of Josiah, king of Judah. Prepare buckler and shield, and advance for battle. Harness the horses, mount your horses, take your stations with your helmets, polish your spears, put on your armor. Why have I seen it? They are dismayed and have turned backward. Their warriors are beaten down and have fled in haste. They look not back, terror on every side. The swift cannot flee away, nor the warrior escape. In the north by the river Euphrates they have stumbled and fallen. Who is this rising like a Nile, like rivers whose waters surge? Egypt rises like a Nile, like rivers whose waters surge. He said, I will rise, I will cover the earth. I will destroy the cities and their inhabitants. Advance, O horses, and rage, O chariots. Let the warriors go by, the men of Cush who handle the shield, men of Lud, skilled in handling the bow. That day is the day of the Lord, God of hosts, that a day of vengeance to avenge himself for his foes. The sword shall devour and be sated, and drink its fill of their blood. For the Lord God of hosts holds the sacrifice in the north country by the river Euphrates. Go up to Gilead and take balm, O virgin daughter of Egypt. In vain you have used many medicines. There is no healing for you. The nations have heard of your shame, and the earth is full of your cry. The warrior has stumbled against warrior. They have both fallen together. The word that the Lord spoke to Jeremiah the prophet about the coming of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, to strike the land of Egypt. Declare in Egypt, and proclaim in Migdol, proclaim in Memphis and in Tahpanhes, and say, stand ready and be prepared, for the sword shall devour around you. Why are your mighty ones face down? They do not stand, because the Lord thrust them down. He made many stumble, and they fell. And they said to one another, arise, and let us go back to our own people, and to the land of our birth, because the sword of the oppressor. Call the name of Pharaoh, king of Egypt, noisy one who lets an hour go by. As I live, declares the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts, like Tabor among the mountains, and like Carmel by the sea, shall one come. Prepare yourselves baggage for exile, for inhabitants of Egypt. For Memphis shall become a waste, and ruin without inhabitant. But beautiful Haifa is Egypt, for the biting fly from the north has come upon it. Even her hired soldiers in her midst are like fattened calves. Yes, they have turned and fled together. They did not stand, for the day of their calamity has come upon them, the time of their punishment. She makes a sound like a serpent gliding away, for her enemies march in force and come against her with axes. Like those who fell trees, they shall cut down her forest, declares the Lord. Though it is impenetrable, because they are more numerous than locusts, they are without number. The daughter of Egypt shall be put to shame. She shall be delivered into the hand of a people from the north. The Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, said, behold, I am bringing punishment upon Ammon of Thebes and Pharaoh in Egypt and her gods and her kings, upon Pharaoh and those who trust in him. I will deliver them into the hand of those who seek their life, into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, and his officers. Afterward, Egypt shall be inhabited as in the days of old, declares the Lord. But fear not, O Jacob my servant, nor be dismayed, O Israel. For behold, I will save you from far away, and your offspring from the land of their captivity. Jacob shall return and have quiet and ease, and none shall make him afraid. Fear not, O Jacob my servant, declares the Lord, for I am with you. I will make a full end of all the nations to which I have driven you, but to you I will not make a full end. I will discipline you in just measure, and I will by no means leave you unpunished. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning the Philistines before Pharaoh struck down Gaza. Thus says the Lord, behold, waters are rising out of the north. They shall become an overflowing torrent. and they shall overflow the land and all that fills it. The city and those who dwell in it. Then shall cry, and every inhabitant of the land shall wail. The noise of the stamping of the hoofs of his stallions, as the rushing of his chariots, and the rumbling of their wheels. The fathers look not back to their children, so feeble are their hands, because of the day that is coming to destroy all the Philistines, to cut off from Tyre and Sidon every helper that remains. For the Lord is destroying the Philistines, the remnant of the coastland of Captor. Boldness has come upon Gaza. Ashkelon has perished, a remnant of their valley. How long will you gash yourselves? Sword of the Lord, how long till you are quiet? Put yourself into your scabbard, rest and be still. How can it be quiet when the Lord has given it a charge? Against Ashkelon and against the seashore he has appointed it. Concerning Moab, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, woe to Nebo, for it is laid waste. Kiriathaim is put to shame, it is taken. The fortress is put to shame and broken down. The renown of Moab is no more. In Heshbon they plan disaster against her. Come, let us cut her off from being a nation. You also, a madman, shall be brought to silence. The sword shall pursue. A voice, a cry from Horonayim, desolation and great destruction. Moab is destroyed. Her little ones have made a cry. For at the ascent of Lahith they go weeping. For at the desert of Horonayim they have heard the distressed cry of destruction. Flee, save yourself. You will be like a juniper in the desert. For because you trusted in your works and your treasure, you also shall be taken. And Chemosh shall go into exile with his priests and his officials. The destroyer shall come upon every city, and no city shall escape. The valley shall perish, and the plain shall be destroyed. And as the Lord has spoken, give wings to Moab, for she would fly away. The city shall become a desolation, with no inhabitant in it. Cursed is he who does the work of the Lord with slackness, and cursed is he who keeps back his sword from bloodshed. Moab has been at ease from his youth, and has settled on his dregs. For he has not been empty from vessel to vessel, nor has he gone into exile. So his taste remains in it, and his scent is not changed. Therefore, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I shall send to him pourers, who will pour him, and empty his vessels, and break his jars in pieces. Then Moab shall be ashamed of Chemosh, as the house of Israel was ashamed of Bethel, their confidence. How do you say, we are heroes and mighty men of war? The destroyer of Moab and his cities have gone, and the choicest of his young men have gone down to slaughter, declares the King, whose name is the Lord of hosts. The calamity of Moab is near at hand, and his affliction hastens swiftly. Grieve for him, all you who are around him, and all who know his name. Say, how the mighty scepter is broken, the glorious staff. Come down from your glory, and sit on the posture, O inhabitant of Diamond. For the destroyer of Moab has come up against you, and he has destroyed your strongholds. Stand by the way and watch, O inhabitant of Aram. Ask him who flees and her who escapes. Say, what has happened? Moab is put to shame, for it is broken. Wail and cry, tell it beside the honor that Moab is laid waste. Judgment has come upon the tableland, upon Holon and Jahaziel, and Methbath, and Dibon, and Nebo, and Beth Diblathaim, and Kiriathaim, and Beth Gamel, and Beth Mean, and Kerioth, and Bozrah, and all the cities of the land of Moab, far and near. The horn of Moab is cut off, and his arm is broken, declares the Lord. Make him drunk, because he magnified himself against them, so that Moab shall wallow in his vomit, and he too shall be held in derision. And why is not Israel a derision to you? Was he found among thieves, that whenever you spoke of him, you wagged your head? Leave the cities and go on the rock, O inhabitants of Moab. Be like the dove that nests in the sides of the mouth of the gorge. We have heard of the pride of Moab, and he is very proud of his loftiness, his pride and his arrogance, and the haughtiness of his heart. I know his insolence, declares the Lord. His boasts are false, his deeds are false. Therefore I will wait for Moab, and cry out for all Moab. For the men of Kirhasheth I know. More than for Jazer I weep for you, O vine of Sibmah. Your branches passed over the sea, reached for the sea of Jazer. On your summer fruits and your grapes, the destroyer has fallen. Gladness and joy have been taken away from the fruitful land of Moab. I have made the wine cease from the wine presses. No one shreds them with shouts of joy. For the shouting is not the shout of joy. From the outcry at Heshbon even to Eluleh. As far as Jahaz, they utter their voice. From Zorah to Horonaim and Eglath-Shelishiah. For the waters of Nimrim, the ocean have become desolate. And I will bring an end in Moab, declares the Lord. Him who offers Moab like a flute, and my heart moans like a flute for the men of Kirhasheth. Therefore the riches they gain have perished, and for every head is shaved and every beard cut off. On all the hands are gashes, and around the waist is sackcloth. On all the housetops of Moab and the squares there is nothing but lamentation. For I have broken Moab, like a vessel for which no one cares, declares the Lord. How it is broken, how they wail, how Moab has turned his back in shame. So Moab has become a derision and horror to all that are around. For thus says the Lord, behold, one shall fly swiftly like an eagle and spread his wings against Moab. Her city shall be taken and the stronghold seized. The heart of the warriors of Moab shall be in that day, like the heart of a woman in her birth pain. Moab shall be destroyed and be no longer a people, because he magnified himself against the Lord. Tear a pit and snare are before you, O inhabitant of Moab, declares the Lord. He who flees from the terror shall fall from the pit, and he who climbs out of the pit shall be caught in the snare. For I will bring these things upon Moab, the year of their punishment, declares the Lord. In the shadow of Heshbon, fugitives stopped without strength. For fire came out from Heshbon, flame from the house of Sihon. He has destroyed the forehead of Moab. The crown of the sons of Tumult. Woe to you, O Moab! The sons of people of Chemosh are under, for your sons have been taken captive, and your daughters into captivity. Yet I will restore the fortunes of Moab in the latter days, declares the Lord. Thus far is the judgment on Moab concerning the Ammonites. So thus says the Lord, has Israel no sons? Has he no heir? Why then has Milcom dispossessed Gad, and his people settled in its cities? Therefore, behold, the days are coming, declares the Lord, when I will cause the battle cry to be heard against Rabbah of the Ammonites. It shall become a desolate mound, and its villages shall be burned with fire. Then Israel shall dispossess those who dispossessed it, says the Lord. Wail, O Heshbon, for Ai is laid waste. Cry out, O daughters of Rabbah, put on sackcloth, lament, and run to and fro among the hedges. For Milcom shall go into exile, with his priests and his officials. Why do you boast of your valleys, O faithless daughter, who trusted in your treasures, saying, who will come against me? Behold, I will bring terror upon you, declares the Lord of God of hosts, from all who are around you. And you shall be driven out, every man straight before him, with none to gather the fugitives. But afterward I will restore the fortunes of the Ammonites, declares the Lord. Concerning Edom, thus says the Lord of hosts, there is wisdom no more in Teman. Has counsel perished from the prudent? Has their wisdom vanished? Flee, turn back, dwell in their depths, O inhabitants of Judah. For I will bring the calamity of Esau upon you, the time when I punish you. If grape gatherers came to you, would they not leave gleanings? If thieves came by night, would they not destroy only enough for themselves? I have stripped Esau bare, I have uncovered his hiding places, and he is not able to conceal himself. His children are destroyed, and his brothers, and his neighbors, and he is no more. Leave your fatherless children, I'll keep them alive, and let your widows trust in me. But thus says the Lord, if those who did not deserve to drink without must drink it, will you not go unpunished? You shall not go unpunished, but you must drink. For I have sworn by myself, declares the Lord, that Bozrah shall become a horror, a taunt, a waste, in a curse, and all the cities shall be perpetual waste. I have heard a message from the Lord, that an envoy has been sent among the nations. Gather yourselves together and come against it, and rise up for battle. For behold, I will make you small among the nations, despised among mankind. The horror you inspire has deceived you, and the pride of your heart. You who live in the clefts of the rock, you who hold the height of the hill, though you make your nest as high as the eagles, I will bring you down from there, declares the Lord. Edom shall become a horror. Everyone who passes by it will be horrified and will hiss because of all its disasters. And when Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighbouring cities were overthrown, thus says the Lord, no man shall dwell there, no man shall sojourn in her. Behold, like a lion coming up from the jungle of Jordan against a perennial pasture, I will suddenly make him run away from her, and I will appoint over her whomever I choose. For who is like me? Who will summon me? What shepherd can stand before me? And therefore hear the plan that the Lord has made against Edom, and the purposes that he has formed against the inhabitants of Teba. Even the little ones of the flock shall be dragged away. Surely their fold shall be appalled at their fate, and the sound of their fall the earth shall tremble. The sound of their city shall be heard at the Red Sea. One shall mount up and fly swiftly like an eagle and spread his wings against Bosra. And the heart of the warriors of Edom shall be in that day like the heart of a woman in her birth pains. Concerning Damascus, Hamath and Arpad are confounded, for they have heard bad news. They melt in fear. They are troubled like the sea that cannot be quiet. Damascus has become feeble. She turned to flee, and panic seized her. Anguish and sorrows have taken hold of her, as of a woman in labor. And how is the famous city not forsaken, the city of my joy? Therefore, her young men shall fall in her squares, and all her soldiers shall be destroyed in that day. Declares the Lord of hosts. And I will kindle a fire in the wall of Damascus, and it shall devour the stronghold of Ben-Hadad. Concerning Kedar and the kingdoms of Hazor, that Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon struck down, thus says the Lord, rise up, advance against Kedar, and destroy the people of the east. Their tents and their flocks shall be taken, their curtains and all their goods. Their camels shall be led away from them, and men shall cry to them, terror on every side. Flee, wander far away, dwell in the depths, O inhabitants of Hazor, declares the Lord. For Nebuchadnezzar king of Babylon has made a plan against you, and formed a purpose against you. Rise up, advance against the nation at ease, that dwells securely, declares the Lord, and that has no gates and no bars, that dwells alone. Their camels shall become plunder, their herds of livestock is spoil. And I will scatter to every wind those who cut the corners of their hair, and I will bring their calamity from every side of them, declares the Lord. Hazor shall become a haunt of jackals, an everlasting waste. No man shall dwell there, and no man shall sojourn in her. The word of the Lord that came to Jeremiah the prophet concerning her in the beginning of the reign of Zedekiah king of Judah. Thus says the Lord of hosts, behold, I will break the bow of Elam, the mainstay of their might, and I will bring upon Elam the four winds from the four quarters of heaven, and I will scatter them to all whose winds, and there shall be no nation to which those driven out of Elam shall not come. I will terrify Elam before their enemies, and those who seek their life, and I will bring disaster upon them. My fierce anger, declares the Lord. I will send the sword after them, until I have consumed them, and I will set my throne in Elam, and destroy their king and officials, declares the Lord. But in the latter days I will restore the fortunes of Elam, declares the Lord. The word that the Lord spoke concerning Babylon, concerning the land of the Chaldeans, by Jeremiah the prophet, declare among the nations and proclaim, set up a banner and proclaim, conceal it not, and say, Babylon is taken, Bel is put to shame, Merodach is dismayed, her images are put to shame, her idols are dismayed. For out of the north a nation has come up against her, which shall make her land a desolation, and none shall dwell in it. Both man and beast shall flee away. In those days and in that time, declares the Lord, the people of Israel and the people of Judah shall come together, weeping as they come, and they shall seek the Lord their God. They shall ask the way to Zion, with faces turned toward it, saying, Come, let us join ourselves to the Lord in an everlasting covenant that will never be forgotten. My people have been lost sheep. Their shepherds have led them astray, hurrying them away on the mountains. From mountain to hill they have gone. They have forgotten their fold. All who found them have devoured them. And their enemies have said, We are not guilty, for they have sinned against the Lord. Their habitation of righteousness, the Lord, the hope of their fathers. Flee from the midst of Babylon, and go out of the land of the Chaldeans, and be as a male goat from the flock, before the flock. For behold, I am stirring up and bringing against Babylon a gathering of great nations from the north country, and they shall array themselves against her. From there she shall be taken. Their arrows are like a skilled warrior who does not return empty-handed. Chaldea shall be plundered. All who plunder her shall be sated, declares the Lord. Though you rejoice, though you exalt the plunderers of my heritage, though you frolic like a heifer in the pasture, and neigh like stallions, your mother shall be utterly shamed, and she who bore you shall be disgraced. Behold, she shall be the loss of the nations, a wilderness, a dry land, in the desert. Because of the wrath of the Lord, she shall not be inhabited, but it shall be in utter desolation. Everyone who passes by Babylon shall be appalled, and hiss because of all her words. Set yourselves in array against Babylon all around. All you who bend the bow, shoot at her, spare no arrows, for she has sinned against them. Raise a shout against her all around. She is surrendered. Her bulwarks have fallen, her walls are thrown down. So this is the vengeance of the Lord. Take vengeance on her. Do to her as she has done. Cut off from Babylon their soul, and the one who handles the sickle in this time of harvest. May cut off the sword of the oppressor. Everyone shall turn to his own people, and everyone shall flee to his own land. Israel is 100 sheep driven away by lions. First the king of Assyria devoured him, and now at last Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, has gnawed his bones. Therefore, thus says the Lord of hosts, the God of Israel, behold, I am bringing punishment on the king of Babylon and his land, as I punished the king of Assyria. I will restore Israel to his pasture, and he shall feed on Carmel and in Bashan, and his desire shall be satisfied on the hills of Ephraim and in Gilead. In those days and in that time, declares the Lord, iniquity shall be sore in Israel, and there shall be none, and sin in Judah, and none shall be found. For I will pardon those whom I leave as a remnant. Go up against the land of Merathaim, and against the inhabitants of Pekod. Kill, and devote them to destruction, declares the Lord. And do all that I have commanded you. The noise of battle is in the land, then great destruction. How the hammer of the whole earth is cut down and broken. How Babylon has become a horror among the nations. I set a snare for you, and you were taken out of Babylon. And you did not know it. You were found in court, because you opposed the Lord. The Lord has opened his armory and brought out the weapons of his wrath. For the Lord God of hosts has work to do in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from every quarter. Open her granaries, pile her up like heaps of grain, and devote her to destruction. Let nothing be left of her. Kill all her bulls. Let them go down to slaughter. Woe to them, for their day is come, the time of their punishment. A voice, they flee and escape from the land of Babylon, to declare in Zion the vengeance of the Lord our God, vengeance for his temple. Summon archers against Babylon, all those who bend the bow, and camp around. Let no one escape. Repay her according to her deeds. Do to her according to all that she has done. For she has proudly defied the Lord, the Holy One of Israel. Therefore her young men shall fall in her squares, and all her soldiers shall be destroyed on that day, declares the Lord. Behold, I am against you, O proud one, declares the Lord, God of hosts. For your day has come, the time when I will punish you. The proud one shall stumble and fall, with none to raise him up. And I will kindle a fire in his teeth, and he will devour all that is around them. Thus says the Lord of hosts, the people of Israel are oppressed, and the people of Judah with them. All who took them captive have held them fast. They refuse to let them go. The Redeemer is strong, for the Lord of hosts is his name. He will surely plead their cause, that he may give rest to the earth, and unrest to the inhabitants of Babylon. As a sword against the Chaldeans, declares the Lord, and against the inhabitants of Babylon, and against their officials and their wise men. A sword against the diviners, that they may become fools. A sword against the warriors, that they may be destroyed. A sword against the horses, and against the chariots, and against all the foreign troops in their midst, and that they may become women. A sword against all her treasures, that they may be plundered. A drought against her borders, for that they may be dried up. For it is a land of images, and they are mad over idols. Therefore wild beasts shall dwell with hyenas in Babylon, and ostriches shall dwell in her. She shall never again have people, nor be inhabited for all generations. As when God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and their neighboring cities, declares the Lord, so no man shall dwell there, and no son of man shall sojourn in her. Behold, a people comes from the north, a mighty nation and many kings are stirring from the farthest parts of the earth. They lay hold of bow and spear. They are cruel and have no mercy. The sound of them is like the roaring of the sea. They ride on horses, arrayed as a man of battle, for battle against you, O daughter of Babylon. The king of Babylon heard the report of them, and his hands fall helpless. Anguish seized him, pain as of a woman in labor. Behold, like a lion coming out from the thicket of the Jordan against a perennial pasture, I will suddenly make them run away from her, and I will appoint over her whomever I choose. For who is like me? Who will summon me? What shepherd can stand before me? Therefore hear the plan that the Lord has made against Babylon, and the purposes that he has formed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the little ones of their flock shall be dragged away. Surely their fold shall be appalled at their fate, and the sound of the capture of Babylon, the earth shall tremble, and a cry shall be heard among the nations. Proverbs 14. The wisest of women builds a house, but folly with her own hands tears it down. And whoever walks in uprightness bears the Lord, and he who is devious in his ways despises him. By the mouth of a fool comes a rod for his back, and the lips of the wise will preserve them. And if there are no oxen, the manger is clean, and the abundant crops come by the strength of the ox. And a faithful witness does not lie, but a false witness breathes out lies. A scoffer sees wisdom in vain. That knowledge is easy for a man of understanding. Leave the presence of a fool, but there you do not meet words of knowledge. The wisdom of the prudent is to discern his way, but the folly of fools is deceiving. Fools mock at the guilt offering, but the upright enjoy acceptance. The heart knows its own bitterness, and no stranger shares its joy. The house of the wicked will be destroyed, but the tent of the upright will flourish. There is a way that seems right to a man, and its end is the way to death. Even in laughter the heart may ache, and the end of joy may be grief. The backslider in heart will be filled with the fruit of his ways, and a good man will be filled with the fruit of his ways. The simple believes everything, but the prudent gives thought to his steps. One who is wise is cautious and turns away from evil. A fool is reckless and careless. A man of quick temper acts foolishly, and a man of evil devices is hated. The simple inherit folly, but the prudent are crowned with knowledge. The evil bow down before the good, the wicked at the gates of the righteous. And the poor is disliked even by his neighbor, but the rich has many friends. Whoever despises his neighbor is a sinner, but blessed is he who is generous to the poor. Do they not go astray who devise evil? Those who devise good meet steadfast love and faithfulness. In all toil there is profit. Mere talk tends only to poverty. The crown of the wise is their wealth, but the folly of fools brings folly. The truthful witness saves lives, but one who breathes out lies is deceitful. In the fear of the Lord one has strong confidence, and the children will have a refuge. The fear of the Lord is a fountain of life, that one may turn away from the snares of death. In a multitude of people is the glory of the king, but without people a prince is wrong. Whoever is slow to anger has great understanding. He who has a hasty temper exalts folly. A tranquil heart gives life to the flesh, but envy makes the bones rot. Whoever oppresses a poor man insults his maker, and he who is generous to the needy honors him. The wicked is overthrown through his evil doing, and the righteous finds refuge in his death. Wisdom rests in the heart of a man of understanding, but it makes itself known even in the midst of fools. Righteousness exalts a nation, but sin is no reproach to any people. A servant who deals wisely has the king's favor, but his wrath falls on one who acts shamefully. Psalm 139. O Lord, you have searched me and known me. You know when I sit down and when I rise up. You discern my thoughts from afar. You search out my path and bring down my path and my lying down, and are acquainted with all my ways. Even before a word is on my tongue, behold, O Lord, you know it altogether, and lay out your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me. It is high, I cannot attain. Where shall I go from your spirit? Or where shall I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. If I make my bed in Sheol, you are there. If I take the wings of the morning and dwell in the uttermost parts of the sea, even there your hand shall lead me, and your right hand shall hold me. If I say, surely the darkness shall cover me, and the light about me be night. You know the darkness is not dark to you, for the night is brighter as the day. My darkness is as light with you, for you formed my inward parts. You knitted me together in my mother's womb. And I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Wonderful are your works. My soul knows it very well. My frame was not hidden from me when I was being made in secret, intricately woven in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed substance. In your book were written, every one of them, the days that were formed for me, when as yet there was none of them. How precious to me are your thoughts, O God, how vast is the sum of them. If I would count them, they are more than the sand. I awake, and I am still with you. Oh, that you would slay the wicked, O God, no men of blood. No men of blood depart from me. They speak against you with malicious intent. Your enemies take your name in vain. Do I not hate those who hate you, O Lord? And do I not loathe those who rise up against you? I hate them with complete hatred. I count them my enemies. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Try me and know my thoughts, and see if there be any grievous way in me, and lead me in the way everlasting. Now the stand, I shall now do the Lord's Prayer. Please bow your hands. Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us today our daily bread. Forgive us our debts, as you also forgive our debtors. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from the evil one. For yours is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. See you tomorrow. Bye.